This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. The homestand continues for the St. Louis Cardinals, and tonight kicks off a bunch of games against the NL East. It's the first of three, the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is with us. That's the birthday boy, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. Happy birthday. And that is Jim Edmonds. So the Cardinals dropped 2 of 3. Very disappointing series over the weekend, and they're going to try to bounce back against good pitching, starting tonight with Pablo Lopez.
Yeah, they're going to try and bounce back, and they're going to have their hands full. And starting tonight with Pablo Lopez, this guy doesn't throw real hard, but he has 4 quality pitches. He's got the fastball and the cutter, which was giving lefties fits the last time he faced the Cardinals. He had 7 strong innings with only 3 hits and 9 strikeouts. So they're going to have to turn up the bats tonight.
Now on the other side, a right-hander for St. Louis, and they need some length because of what happened yesterday with the bullpen. And who else? It's Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, I mean, do we have to lean on this guy every time? He's got his hands full every time he goes out there, and they expect him to go 7 innings every time. Give us a break, but he responds almost every single time he's asked.
A lot of innings under the belt of Adam Wainwright here in 2022. We'll see if that continues tonight. Goldie, sensational defensively. A closer look at the Cardinals Gold Glover when we come back on Bally Sports.
What's your favorite way? Why?
Yeah, all of it. Honestly, it's the total package when it comes to Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, you can look at the offensive numbers, and you're right. I mean, look, this is MVP. I love watching the defense. Now, this does not happen very often to Paul Goldschmidt. He had one just get under the glove, made an error, and you know what he did?
Totally redeemed himself.
Yes, he did. He goes out there, foul territory. He runs this one down. You know how often that ball drops, and then the next at-bat, guy ends up hitting a bomb? Then he has the heads-up double play. Tags Contreras first, then steps on the bag. Umpire didn't really see it that way. They looked at it in replay. Ends up being a double play as Goldie explains the rules and how it works to the first base umpire. But just such a heads-up player. This guy has saved you so many runs and made your ball club so much better on that end of things.
I love how Ian Happ's halfway up first base, and he's just like, I don't know what's going on. I'll wait till y'all figure it out. Nolan Gorman getting set for this matchup in the lineup tonight, playing second, batting 5th. We got plenty of more baseball coming on the other side of the break. Outfielder tonight, he will be in left, Dylan Carlson in center, and Lars Nootbaar playing right field. The reason Carlson playing center, Harrison Bader placed on the 10-day IL. Some other roster moves for you. Jack Flaherty placed on the 15-day IL with that right shoulder strain. Couple of contracts selected. James Nail, the Southeast Missouri native, 29 years old, drafted by the A's in 2015, signed with the Cards as a minor league free agent last November after 7 seasons in the A's farm system. And Connor Capel. So a lot of new names coming to join the Cardinals and Adam Wainwright.
From Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Well, the Cardinals head-to-head recently have dominated the series against Miami, winning 8 of 9. The key there, what's happened with the offense for the Marlins, averaging just above a run per game. The runs via the home run favor St. Louis, and then the key, the average with runners in scoring position. Only 102 for Don Mattingly and the Marlins. Adam Wainwright is on the mound for St. Louis. Should be a good pitching matchup. Pablo Lopez for Miami. The Fish and Cards come your way next. Sports Midwest brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Beautiful night for baseball. The temperature's perfect. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis as the homestand continues. It is 81 degrees. And with Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great to have you with us as we get you set for game 1 of this 3-game set. And Dylan Carlson is in center field tonight. with Lars Nootbaar in right, Brendan Donovan in left. The reason why, plantar fasciitis puts Bader on the IL. So you may be seeing a lot of Dylan Carlson in center. It is Adam Wainwright on the mound for the Cardinals. Still trying to get win number 190. He's hit a bunch of cracks at it, and this season he's 5-5.
Well, he's not getting the break that he needs, and by the way, he is going against pretty much every ace there is in the baseball game, in the baseball world this year, and you can see his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Pretty much everything he got. Just what is working tonight and how is he going to use it?
There's a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal from Adam Wainwright, who's been very good against Miami in his career, 7-2 with a 2.99 ERA. Don Mattingly, the manager of the Marlins, has John Birdie at the top. And then Garrett Cooper, Jorge Soler, Avisail Garcia, Jesus Sanchez, Miguel Rojas, Brian Anderson just activated off the IL, Brian De La Cruz, and the former Pirate Jacob Stallings, who won a Gold Glove a year ago. So Ollie and the Cardinals suffering a really tough loss yesterday, and a series loss over the weekend against the Chicago Cubs. They were up 5-0 in the ball game yesterday. Cubs tied it up, won it in extra innings, and also for a little bit of time they're going to miss Jack Flaherty, and Jim Hayes will have more on that later in our telecast. And the first pitch taken high, and we are underway. John Birdie with 17 stolen bases this month, and that is a club record, breaking the record held by Juan Pierre. He had 16, and he also comes in riding a 10-game hitting streak, career best 366 the average. He has a 23-game on base streak, began at the beginning of this month. 326 his average here in the month of June. So you get the idea. He's a key
get the idea.
for the Marlins.
He is going bananas right now.
As a matter of fact, the Marlins lead the National League ahead of the Cardinals. 8 stolen bases. That drops in for a strike. Marlins with 56, and they are second to Texas. They lead all of baseball with 61. 298 the overall average for John Birdie, the second baseman. Fouled back, and from 2-0 now to a count of 2-2. Well, tonight is the 21st start for Adam Wainwright since he turned 40, passing Murray Dixon, third most in franchise history. The most, Grover Cleveland Alexander. He had 80 starts after he turned 40. That's it out of play.
That's amazing if you think about it. 80. And think about how hard it is to stay healthy at that age. And 80 starts is at least a couple years of straight starts back to back to back to back to back.
And the 2-2 slow breaking ball, and he struck him out. And the first out in our series, a strikeout, as he catches Birdie with the slow curveball.
This is the one thing for Adam. Everyone knows he has that big breaking ball, but when it starts up that high and it doesn't come all the way down, it looks like it's going to be a ball. Usually his breaking ball has to end up down by the feet for it to be a strike, and that one just broke enough to get into the zone.
And now it is Garrett Cooper. Fastball taken up and in. The umpires, Trip Gibson, is behind the plate. Laz Diaz, the crew chief, down at first. Chad Fairchild at second. Eric Backus at third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cooper hitting .363 here in June, and that is the 4th highest average in all of baseball this month. And the 1-1 off the plate, and it's a count of 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think that you're noticing right now that the air, the heavy air that we have here, and it's not even humid today, is allowing Adam to have a nice run to his cutter, slider, and big breaking ball.
And a base hit into right field. Over to cut it off, it'll be Nootbaar, and he'll hold Garrett Cooper to a 1-out single. the glasses on for Nootbaar in these 6:45 starts here at Busch Stadium. It really is a sun field in right. Donovan is in left, Carlson in center. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. And it's Arenado, Edman, Gorman, and Goldie on the infield. Ivan Herrera, the catcher tonight.
Well, when you get the sun field, Danny, what you got to do is you got to stand in the shadow. If you look right there where Lars is going to probably do the best he can to stay in that, because if you can't see the ball off the bat, you can't catch it. So you got to kind of navigate your way around where you want to stand, kind of start squatting down a little bit if you feel yourself getting a little deep, a little close. Follow that shadow around for a little bit.
It's the light standard there that he's in the shadow of. Off the plate to Soler. 13 home runs, is driven in 33. Tremendous power. And on the season, hitting .219. Miami comes in 5 games below the 500 mark. They are 12.5 back of the New York Mets and in 4th place of the National League East. The shift on the left side and a 1-1. Be interested tonight to watch Waino working with the young catcher Ivan Herrera. No Yadier Molina.
I think they probably did a lot of talking the last couple days, and I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't worked out some kind of way to kind of signal so Adam doesn't have to shake off a lot. Might be little, it might be inning to inning. Might talk before the inning. Hey, this is what I'd like to do, you know, and keep it fresh. And or you might just simply just hold your glove a certain way or whatever it takes. But I know a lot of times why, and we don't ever talk about this, why pitchers only like to throw to certain guys is because they don't want to shake all the time. If a guy has no idea really what his style of pitching's like, then the more you shake, the more you get frustrated, the more you start thinking around. You start thinking, and then you start second guessing yourself. And see a good 2-seam fastball right there.
And it brings in Avisail Garcia. Saw him a bunch with the Brewers last year. He had 29 home runs and drove in 86 last season. He's had 7 home runs in his career against the Cardinals. He is over his last 8 with a couple of strikeouts. The righties hitting Waino at a clip of 261, and the lefties at 249.
You can see both of the guys, Herrera and Wainwright, kind of give a little look to the umpire.
I could also see Herrera having maybe a little bit of a game plan on his form, kind of like
Not
what
a bad idea.
A QB would work with in the NFL.
I'll tell you what, I like his style. He does a nice job of receiving the ball. He's real quiet, gives a nice target, doesn't move around a lot. I think it would be funny if the pitchers actually had the pitch call. Just tell the catcher, here, this is what's coming.
And the 1-1 pitch by Adam Wainwright inside. Essentially, Waino will dictate what he wants to throw anyway. There are 5 pitch comms in terms of what goes in your hat, and it's Waino, the catcher, the 2 middle infielders, and your center fielders, so they can hear what pitch is coming. And the 2-1 hit down the right field line. It's slicing foul out of play.
You can see Lars right there. That shadow was sneaking up on him a little bit and moving, and so he was kind of standing out there in the sun, and he had no idea where that ball went when it first went off the bat. Now he's sliding back over, way over into the other side, more kind of down the line.
Shading from the sun too. It's really
hard.
tough.
That's what I'm saying. You got to find a spot where you can get close enough to where you want to play, and also have to be able to see.
2-2 pulled foul.
You know, in center field, you have a lot of options out there just at the angle, and the best you can hope for in right field is just hope for a quick inning and then a little bit of a longer inning. Is when he runs out there in the top of the second, the first thing he's going to want to see is if the shadows are gone or not. It's miserable when you're looking into the sun. You know, like I said before, It's like anything. It doesn't matter what you have on your eyes. If the ball goes in the sun or in the lights, it doesn't matter what you have on your head. It does not help.
And the short lead at first. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts here at the top of the first for Adam Wainwright. And coming up for St. Louis, the home half of the first, it'll be Edman, Donovan, and Goldie. No score. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Nolan Gorman, Dylan Carlson, Juan Yepes, Lars Nootbaar, and the catcher, Ivan Herrera. Pablo Lopez is 5-3 and a 2.61 ERA. We saw him earlier pitch against St. Louis in Miami. He is awfully good. Now that's at home. He's dominated home, but overall very good. There's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. As Jimmy said, he'll throw the kitchen sink at you. Throws a lot of strikes. Averages about a strikeout per inning.
Look at the usage with the four-seamer, and the cutter kind of blends in with that. But then the changeup. That's what you're going to be battling. I think the reason why the four-seamer and the cutter are a little bit kind of blended is because I think a lot of his four-seamers cut. I think he has a natural, like almost like a football.
0-1 pitch.
And that
Nothing in
changeup
2.
right there is what you're going to have to pay attention to.
Cardinals begin the day in second place in the NL Central, 1 game back of Milwaukee. And the 0-2 pitch to the Cardinals shortstop Tommy Edman. A grounder foul. For the Marlins, we're going to see 2 of the very good pitchers that they have in their rotation. This guy tonight. And then Wednesday, Sandy Alcantara, former Cardinal with a 1.95 ERA. So it's a tough stretch of baseball beginning tonight. 14 straight against the NL East. Upcoming road trip will feature both Philadelphia and Atlanta. And the 0-2 pitch. Cardinals made a move today. Jack Flaherty, shoulder strain. Bader, the plantar fasciitis on the IL. Connor Capel has been called up along with James Nail. He's a right-handed reliever available to go tonight if need be. Capel has not arrived at the ballpark just yet. And when those two make their debuts, it'll be the 10th and 11th players to make their major league debut for the Cardinals this year.
A lot of moving parts.
Ooh.
Not the way you want to draw it up at the beginning of the season.
2-2 lined into right, and staying with it to make the catch, Garcia.
I think that ball just for him thankfully didn't get up in the air and a little bit to the gap, and that's basically the only way you can see the ball without glasses on right now.
De La Cruz in left, Sanchez in center, Garcia in right. Round the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Anderson, Rojas, Birdie, and Cooper on the infield, and Jacob Stallings behind the plate. Fastball and a strike to Brendan Donovan. 32 hits now in the month of June. The last rookie to do it was Albert Pujols. Prior to that, Cardinals coach Willie McGee. They both had 34 hits as rookies in the month of June. Willie in 1982. And I bring that up because I always like to see and talk about the great Willie McGee.
Of course you do.
Who doesn't? Donovan on a hop to second baseman John Birdie. And that'll be out number 2.
I thought we were going to watch something special last night when he went triple homer in the first 2 at bats. I stuck around for a while to watch it, and I was like, God, that would have been so much fun.
I actually thought he was going to get it. After he got the home run, I thought, okay, he's got the 2 hard parts of this out of the way. He's going to get it.
Isn't that funny? You kind of just go, wait, did that just really happen? Are we just going to make it that easy already?
Man, it's kind of like a no-hitter. And you get to like the 5th inning and you say, wait a minute, there's no hits here.
Wait, did I miss something?
What's going on? Here's Goldie hitting .391 here at Busch Stadium. And he was one of the 3 home runs hit midway through against Chicago when the Cardinals jumped out to that 5-0 lead. His 18th home run of the season.
This place had to be.
Oh, and he hits this one out to deep left at the wall Boy, the folks at McDonald's getting their money's worth. Off Big Mac land. High, towering home run for number 19 off the bat of Goldie.
Did we both just say, oh, that was loud. Wow. I mean, wow. That is a hanging slider cutter. So loud. I didn't think that ball was going to come down. That's about as high as he hits a ball ever. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely crushed. He's now driven in 63 and a fastball to Nolan Arenado. You have to get to Lopez early. He's allowed 10 runs, 8 earned, 5 home runs coming in the first inning. After that, 17 runs he's allowed. So he really settles in. And the fly ball off the bat of Arenado to De La Cruz coming on to make the catch. What a force he has been here in 2022. Cardinals first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Home run number 19. And it's 1-0 St. Louis. We check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, Jack Flaherty went on the IL today with a right shoulder strain. Jack came out of yesterday's game after just 2 innings saying that his arm just didn't feel right. Jack told me today it's a setback, but he doesn't think he's back at square one. He said it was tight. We're going to see what the doctor says today, and we're going to see what we're dealing with. There was just a little bit of trouble that we had that we think we can work our way through. Jack said, I haven't even seen the doctor yet, so if you're asking about a timetable, I just don't have the answer. Dan, short term, John Mozeliak says he'll continue to lean on the young arms. They're hoping Steven Matz recovers quickly, and possibly down the road they'll look at other options, possibly a trade, but not sure how long Jack Flaherty will be out, Danny, and it leaves a hole in the rotation.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. So they have selected the contracts of Connor Capel, outfielder, James Nail from AAA Memphis. Capel wears number 71. Nail will wear number 68. Nail, by the way, grew up a massive Cardinals fan. He's from the Cape Girardeau area. And so when he makes his debut, he'll be doing it as a Cardinal. Spent a number of years in the Oakland system in their minor leagues.
Welcome home.
You got it. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Here's Jesus Sanchez. He's driven in 14 in his last 18 games, and a ground ball that's hit to Nolan Gorman for the out. Jimmy, your Toyota key to the game.
Well, I was just going to say that's the trouble right there, but the Miami Marlins have a little bit of tough luck swinging at curveballs. The percentages are way down, and guess what? This guy throws one of the best ones in the game, and I was just going to say right there, you can see even when you time the curveball perfectly, you hit it right on the ground of the second baseman. It's just the angle of the ball going down and the bat coming through the zone. You have to hit it perfectly, and most of the time it does not work out.
Miguel Rojas hitting .236, shortstop for Miami as he calls time. The home run hit by Goldie was number 299 of his outstanding major league career. There's the curveball. It was also his 75th first inning home run, fourth most among active players, home runs in that first inning.
And I think he knocked out the M in the French fry.
He may have.
It looks like it's a little dark.
0-2 is whacked foul down the right field line.
I'm still in shock how loud that was off the bat and how good a swing that was. That is just awesome to watch.
I'm with you. It was loud. There's just certain times that you listen. BP even. You know, Nolan Gorman, when he hits one, it's loud.
I think if you listen to the playback, you'll hear it, and you'll hear us yelling at the same time.
And that is tapped foul. So Herrera was born June 1st of 2000. A week or so later, Adam Wainwright drafted in 2000. That's amazing.
I was halfway through my first year as a Cardinal.
Yep.
at 29 years old.
0-2 pitch. Well, Jimmy, it is your birthday, so again, happy birthday
I forgot
to
about that. I thought we were through that already.
the Cardinal Hall of Famer, and it's just a yearly reminder that we're getting older.
Yes, we are. There I am right there. Back in the day. Can't really see my face or my jersey, but someone said it's there.
And the 1-2 lined and a base hit into center.
It's a good piece of hitting right there by Rojas.
Went down to get it, and a 1-out hit.
See if that was just a sinker that just kind of stayed on the same plane, or I mean, it was a nice pitch down the way. Just did a really nice job adjusting to it. It's a good piece of hitting.
There's Brian Anderson. He can play the outfield. He's at third base tonight. Missed 28 games. He had a lower back injury, so he's back in there for Don Mattingly and the Marlins. Always think about the ground ball with this pitching staff. 77% ground ball rate. When you're talking about Waino and Hudson and the others, and that's why the infield defense has to be better than most, and it is.
And it still is, and you're missing basically one main guy, and the other guy's out of position, which we all know now it doesn't really matter because Tommy can play any position on the field. But
I'm not so sure he's out of position.
He's not out of position, but he's out of his position so far at the big league level. But a shortstop through and through for life.
1 ball and 1 strike. Look at that. 77% this 2022 staff, and the highest opponent ground ball percentage. And the Cardinals have 0-4 on there, and why not when you had Albert, Scott Rowland, Edgar Renteria. Tony Womack was a good defender, had very good range. Cardinals have turned 74 ground ball double plays, most in baseball, and Waino has induced 9 of those. Here's the check on the runner, Rojas.
I think the outfielders, especially right and center, are kind of hoping it stays on the ground for another half an inning because they're still battling the sun.
Yeah, we're about 15 minutes away to where that finally does not become a massive issue for the right fielder. The 1-2.
Let me just tell you, that is an awful, awful feeling as a player, let alone a young player. I mean, it is no man's land out there if you're in the league for 10 years, but you have a year and a half. That is a sinking feeling standing out there.
It's ruled a wild pitch here as Herrera kept it in front, but then lost it, went to his left, and reading the play wisely was Rojas.
Serious spin on that ball right there because he knocked it down well and it just kind of trickled away.
And the 2-2 pitch, staying away from Brian Anderson. Miami's just hopeful he can stay on the field. If he's on the field, meaning he's healthy, he produces. It just haven't been able to do it. Shoulder issues, then the back issue has come up this season. Slow breaking ball and a strikeout, and that is number 4 for Waino.
I feel you right there. He thought he was all over that thing, and it was just a little bit slower than he thought. I think Adam's trying not to smile. Watch this. He sizes it up perfectly and just didn't get there. I mean, that's right down the middle, too. I mean, it's chest high coming out of the hand, and you don't really see a lot of times when his breaking ball is on, Yadi catch the ball at his chest. It's usually down.
De La Cruz with a fly ball into left, and Donovan is there to make the catch. Marlins strand their second runner. It's Gorman, Carlson, Yepes coming up 1-0. Phillies, and that night 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a short-sleeved hooded pullover thanks to the Shane Company. Gray pullover features a neon bird on the bat. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Nolan Gorman, followed by Carlson and Yepez. And a ground ball that's tapped up the line. Foul.
Let's check out Garcia right here. Now, I don't know if we can back out or not. But he's doesn't have glasses on. But if I'm standing out there where his feet are in the shade, so I will move forward a little bit and take my chances and even duck just enough. Because, like I said, if you don't see the ball off the bat, it doesn't matter where you're playing.
Well, one pitch, hit up the middle. Shift was on. Rojas makes the play.
Got down the line a little bit right there, didn't he?
He surprised me in that regard. He's also surprised me with his defense in a good way.
He's done a nice job at second base. I think that, you know, the one thing they were worried about was, you know, not enough time at second over the years, or can he play at this level? And you're right. I've seen him run first to third, second to home, first to home a couple times. He doesn't look that quick. But when you just see him run in a straight line, because he's kind of a bigger guy, you can see him get down the line. I think he's deceiving as far as basically, yeah, he's a big guy. Everything that he does a pretty good job of, and I've been impressed.
There's Carlson. 7 of his last 10 hits have gone for extra bases. Had a double yesterday. On the year, hitting .247 with 4 home runs, and he's driven in 17. Shift on the right side for Miami. Playing the pull in the outfield. Carlson on the ground, 2 hops. Garrett Cooper is there, takes it himself, and now number 2. So this is what I was talking about, Jimmy. So you get the first inning, ERA above 5, and then after that, boy, does he settle in. ERA just above 2. I mean, anything in the 2s now, you are dealing. So you got to get to him early.
Right. He's one of those guys that, you know, it's a feel pitcher. You know, if you throw, Adams the same way. I mean, you're kind of watching the same guys, little different stuff, but is more or less, you know, a guy with a bunch of different pitches. It's got good velocity, but not great. But everything comes out of his hand. It has a little bit of feel to it. You know, cutter, slider, sinker, whatever, changeup especially. Sometimes that doesn't match up instantly. So that makes sense.
There's Juan Yepez, homered into Big Mac land yesterday. Ball that was crushed for his 7th home run.
I was about to say right before Goldie knocked that ball flat. That must have been an exciting inning, because I was jumping up and down at home, and I was hoping, and Nolan was close. I wanted the back-to-back-to-back. I thought that would have been awesome, but then Yepez hit that ball. I mean, this place had to be rocking.
It was as loud as it's been all year. That's why, for me, it was just shocking that they gave up the 5 runs to get this game tied, and it happened in a hurry. And Juan puts it into Big Mac land. They've now added the section to the left facing Big Mac land as part of Big Mac land.
Well, I think that, well, from my angle on the TV, and you saw it right there, I almost thought when he hit it, I was like, oh, don't be foul. You know, from that angle, a little bit, especially TV angle. But you could tell after a second that he was starting to jog, that it had a chance. And well, you hate to waste those. And I'd hate to throw the ball in there when he's pulling off like that.
Ooh, just missed on the inside corner, and a count is full. Jacob Stallings is the catcher, and he's a good one. Very quiet behind the plate, won a Gold Glove. Newbar on deck. We saw him with Pittsburgh. He was one of the first players that we saw using PitchCom right away. 3-2. And a strikeout of Juan Yepez, and the first for Pablo Lopez. And we head to the 3rd. A Goldie home run, the difference. In Philly, he and Waino have been there from day 1, every 5th day or 6th day. And they're part of this collection of Waino, Hudson, Michaelis. Teams with 3 or more starters that have made at least 14 starts, 5 wins, and a sub-4 ERA. And then you have Cole, Cornish, and Jamison Tyone. And the Yankees, one of the reasons that they are 33 games above 500 is because their starting pitching has been really good this year. It's not just about Stanton, Judge, and some of the others, but their pitching has come together.
I mean, there's no secret to this game. If you're going to be good, you're going to have pitching. And, you know, the better your starting pitching is, obviously the better your team's going to be, but it's in numbers sometimes, and it's so ridiculous to watch. It is black and white in baseball, and like you said, we only see Judge and those guys, but if he really comes down to the real deal, it's the pitching staff. You know, it's not and it's usually, I mean, the bullpen obviously is going to win you or save you some games, but man, these starters, that is what the game is all about.
Stallings pops out to first, and the top of the lineup, John Birdie, struck out looking on a 2-2 curveball as Waino struck out first time through the lineup. On the video board during the commercial break, showing highlights of Jim Edmonds wishing him a happy birthday, and you know, you were a pretty good player. Those highlights were pretty good.
That highlight just got me a bunch of text messages all of a sudden too. So a bunch of friends at the game and enjoying this 1-0 lead. And I mean, you know, what did they say? The farther you get away from the game, the better you were. You know, we get visitors in here once in a while that are like that.
Do we ever?
Speaking of visitors, Andy Bennis came by today. It's good to see him.
Well, this would be a test, by the way.
Alvarowski snuck in.
Yeah. For Waino and Herrera with Birdie at first base. 17 steals in June. Last time a player had 17 stolen bases or more in any month was Starling Marte. He had 19 in August of last season. And the last player to do that in the National League, Trey Turner, in the month of June. And they know that. He's got 21 on the year. Here's Garrett Cooper at the plate. Not running, and the pitch taken for a ball. All the things that can happen with a base stealer outside of the obvious of going to get second base, but speeding up your pitcher. Pitches sometimes get left high in the zone because you're trying to get quicker to the plate.
Well, you know,
he is running here. Chance for Herrera, and Birdie's in there safely.
Picked a great pitch right there. Big breaking ball. Adam got the ball to the plate pretty quickly, but it's the one thing that maybe you can run on that is going to give the catcher trouble, because he just has to wait. Can't get out there too quick, and you can see by the time he's about ready to throw, Birdie's over halfway to second base. And
no chance.
Well, just like you said, right? If you rush to the plate, your feet and your arm are in different sync, so the ball stays up. Well, what happens when you try to do too much at the plate throwing a second? You could see exactly right there. You just yanked it into the ground trying to be too fast, and that's just really not much you can do as a catcher right there.
So that's number 22 for Birdie, and he's 18 for 19 here in the month of June.
That's unbelievable. You can give all the stats you want. It's still incredible.
Guys just don't run either. As much as the running game is down to an exact science, it seems like. Birdie has stolen more bases this month than all but Jorge Mateo and Julio Rodriguez. And we're talking about guys that are leading their leagues. You know, among the league leaders, he's got more this month. We're right there with him.
And you wouldn't think that, I mean, just kind of watching, he has that kind of speed or burst. But clearly he has all of the above.
2-2, a curveball left up but pulled foul. Marlins come in on the road, just 14 wins. They're 14-22 away from Miami. One of the culprits has been their offense. 11th in the National League with runners in scoring position at 222. And we showed you earlier that Cardinals have done a really nice job in the head-to-head meetings between the two teams in these spots. So one out runner at second base. The next to Garrett Cooper. Just off the plate, full count.
I think the Cardinals have their hands full every night, because I think that whoever you are, if you want to be recognized and you want to be good, you have to beat the teams that have been there for a long time. And this is like playing the Yankees. And if you want to kickstart your game or be measured against someone, and especially the pitching staff, they're going to try and step it up.
And Herrera hops on it, throw to third, and safe.
What a jump right there. I might slow him down a little bit, but he's lucky that's not Scott falling on him. Scott rolling. It's a great jump right here. The ball is right in front of Herrera, and he is gone. Little elbow slash shin to the head right here. Watch this. Knee to the back of the head.
He may have come off the bag, though, in Roland, or rather Arenado, after having you say Scott. But Arenado kept the tag on. Watch. So the hand is there. Then right there, he's off the bag, and it looks like he's out.
Bag, yeah. It's a great job by Nolan right there.
Well, the Cardinals are out between the mound at second base. The infielders just taking a look at it. They've showed the replay that we believe will have Birdie be out. That's the reaction of the fans here at Busch Stadium.
I know a lot of the players are not big fans of this type of replay right here, because this is just part of the game. It's almost to me like when you slide into home plate, you hardly slide and touch home plate. You know, you slide over it. I mean, the thing isn't elevated. It actually is kind of a little bit in a hole. So when you slide across it, you hardly ever touch it. So it's just part of the game. And if you slide past the bag and you see it with your own eyes, I get it. But when you come off the bag for a split second just because your body can't stay on the ground, and this is not, it's a great slide. It's just part of it.
Boy, what a good look by our crew here to find that.
That is a great shot right there.
So the right call was made.
You know, it's really funny, Danny, right there. He really had no reason to put that hand out and come up unless he just kind of, you know, when you put your head down, you lose track of where you're at. He had no reason to put his hand down and lift up. He should have just laid flat. Probably wouldn't have got the knee to the head either.
On a hop, backing up Tommy Edman to Nolan Gorman at second base. Cardinals challenge goes their way. And the ground ball off the bat of Soler. That is a big call going St. Louis's way. 1-0 midway through 3. Friday, July 8th. Purchase of a themed ticket. Take home an exclusive Cardinals boy band t-shirt. And the boy band night band will be here. Cardinals.com/theme on July 8th. Here's Lars Nootbaar. Connor Cable has made his way into the St. Louis dugout. There he is on the right. Dakota Hudson the left. The 1-0. Chopped right side. Backing up Birdie, and he makes the play.
Tell you what, he's going to be kicking himself when he goes and watches that replay. It was one of those that was hanging up there for him to hit, and he just kind of cut across it.
Ivan Herrera over the weekend, his first run batted in and hit in the big leagues. First pitch is strike. Ninth place batter for Ali. Would imagine we may see a little run of Ivan Herrera, and whoever's producing is going to play. And the 0-1.
Well, you know, I think you have now two good catchers that are both young, and one has a little bit more experience than the other. And you know, it's just sometimes it becomes, who does the front office like? Who do you want to see more of? And who needs to play on an everyday basis, and who is, you know, I mean, Kiz has been sitting there for what, 2-3 years now, and he's done an incredible job. He's very qualified to do his job, and then this young man comes up, and you can't let him sit too long, because then you're wasting two guys' time, right? So do you want Herrera, who is only 22 years old, to come up and watch Andrew Kisner play, or do you want to give him a little bit of a shot just to see what he can do, and then when you have to send him back, send him back? I mean, it's so many things to look at, and how you play that game. You know how it is with the kids, right? Your own kids. Do you want your kids to be on varsity and watch, or JV and play every day? And it's all just kind of, and that game comes from also age. Like, what do you want to do with that age, and where is he? Is he from AA, AAA? Is so many things that come into play.
And a 3-2 pitch. Foul back.
And that's another thing that we can sit up here and tell you, hey, this guy's great, this guy's great. We have no idea what they're thinking down there, and there is just no way to ever know unless somebody just actually asks the question.
And another 3-2 pitch to Ivan Herrera. Way inside, and that'll be ball 4. So the 1-out walk. The home half of the third. The Cardinals leading 1-0 on a Paul Goldschmidt home run. The Kia player profile at Tommy Edman against Miami in his career. Went 4 for 11 earlier this season in Miami. A .371 hitter against the Marlins. Marlins want to shift here on the right side. Tommy lined out to right first time up, and that's a ball outside. He's 1 for 6 head-to-head with a strikeout against Lopez.
I think when you face a guy like Lopez, you know you're going to have your hands full, and he's going to run off some good innings. But your one saving grace, I think, is if I was playing, you're only seeing 92. So you're going to get pitches to hit. You're just going to have to stay stubborn in what you're looking for and what your game plan is against a guy like this, because a guy like this can carve you up by going in, out, in, out, in, out. And if you get caught looking for things and anticipating, this is when he eats you up. And if you don't swing at strikes. But when you got a guy throwing 97, 98 with few pitches but still good stuff, you're guessing a lot fastball, and so you start your swing early. And that's the same with being pitched in. You start your swing early. So if you can stay out over the plate, at least your saving grace is, he's got a good fastball, but it is in the lower 90s, and you have a chance to stay on some pitches. And that's the way you have to approach it as a hitter.
1-2 pitch, and got him. Strikeout, second tonight for Lopez. His parents always served as an inspiration to him. His mother was a medical pathologist. His father, general practitioner, a couple of doctors, and received a very strong education. And he speaks 4 languages, graduated high school at the age of 16, and accepted into medical school. He had the accelerated education, but also was able to sign as an international free agent in baseball. And he realized quickly it was baseball or med school, like his parents, but not both. And his dad told him this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to enter baseball. He said your brain is growing, and college will always be there on the other side of the coin. The body will be weakening, and if suddenly you want to enter the baseball industry, you won't be able to. You can always go back to school. So Lopez had to promise his grandma he would get his degree, college degree, before he was allowed to make the decision to pursue baseball, and also a high school degree. So he still has to get that college degree, but got the high school degree at the age of 16.
Tell you what, it's a win-win situation. But 16 years old at anything, like, I can kind of go off my own 16-year-old.
4 languages. It's pretty awesome.
I'm still working on the grade
English?
point average, let alone graduating.
I just thought you were still working on English.
Mine too.
On English.
I'm still working on it too. Still trying to catch up to 16.
Here's a 2-1 pitch.
This guy
and
is
a strike.
This guy's incredible. I mean, he is no joke, and I kind of wasn't making light of the situation. This guy's a great pitcher. I'm saying as a hitter, your saving grace is now blowing guys away, but that doesn't mean anything because this year so far he's got a 2.65 ERA and he's only 26 years old, pitched in 77 games already. So, I mean, this guy is legit. And it's awesome. These guys always have such great pitching. Just another one of those guys from the Marlins.
So you pitch calm, and then you have the traditional signs there. Shift on the right side. Herrera off with his pitch, the 3-2. Put in play by Donovan. Chopped to Birdie. He'll underhand to Garrett Cooper.
Could they be giving signs in different languages?
I think fingers are all the same. But
Universal.
Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. By CarShield. CarShield cars go farther. And by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. The statue of the great Ted Simmons outside the ballpark. Cardinals Hall of Famer, and now Baseball Hall of Famer.
Stud right there, huh?
Bet, Ted Simmons. Waino had 22 pitches in the first, 17. And then 12, 51 pitches as we move into the fourth inning. We'll keep an eye on that.
I don't think that's too bad, but I think that's just a little bit higher than he would like it.
And a little flare into right and a base hit by Avisail Garcia.
And that's not going to help.
Well, the thing is, too, Jimmy, coming off of yesterday, you had to use so many pitchers to cover the game. You would love to see some length in terms of innings out of Waino here
I feel
tonight.
like we're saying that every day. I do, and I feel like it's on him half the time.
Well, it's like his spot has seemed to come up the last couple of years following a loss or a losing skid or where you need innings.
Well, normally you're the number one. You get the, you get the spot start, the bullpen game, the number 5 guy, which can float around. You get the guy that gets skipped after an off day, and you're the guy who has to fill in, back in your spot. So I think it kind of, it's funny because all of these years you see the guy who has the hardest time with run support and, pitching in games like this is usually the ace. It's not him. It's usually the guy who's matched up against the other guy. And, you're both of your guys go out there with a solid ERA and then have like a 500 record.
There's Jesus Sanchez, and it's 0-2.
Maybe even beyond a solid ERA and a 500 record. So, I mean, it's just hit or miss sometimes. But I definitely go with, after all these years, saying the guy who's leading your pitching staff is having the toughest time earning his wins. What makes what he does even more special.
All kinds of room on the left side of the infield. Cardinals with a shift. Goldie, Gorman, Edman on the right side. Arenado basically at the shortstop side of the bag, so he'd be the one potentially to turn a double play. And the 0-2 outside corner and struck him out. Number 5 tonight for Waino. Boy, by seeing that reaction makes you think it was like a foot off the plate. We'll take a look at it.
Whoa, wait a second. You can't take a strike. You can't take a strike and then have the manager think that you don't know what you're doing, right? That's usually the reaction. But you get that reaction a lot too when a guy starts looking inside and he gets a pitch outside, or you see a guy pull off. And you pull off, pulling off with your front foot is almost the same as guessing inside, because you lose track of the outside part of the plate when you step away a little bit, step in the bucket. And we all know, watching kids baseball, as a lot of kids do. But it's the same for your head. If your eyes kind of want to wander to the inside, you lose track of the ball. It's the same reaction. And also, you see a lot of players want your manager to think that you know, well, there's no way I could have taken strike 3.
Sure.
If I was the manager, I'd go in and look and be like, hey, you can't do that. Like, you're going to get me thrown out.
Miguel Rojas with a base hit to center. 1 out, runner at first, and a 2-0 pitch. Off the end of the bat, 2-1. Bullpen yesterday had to cover 8 innings for the Cardinals. 6 different pitchers: Whitgren, Oviedo, Naughton, Fernandez, Thompson, and Woodford. So you had a bunch. That's to the point of why you want to see Waino give you some innings tonight.
I was going to say that kind of that strike zone thing almost reminds me of what we saw when we first got the replay. You almost could see what players you can really trust and which players are just always wanting to be safe, you know.
Had him out in front on the 2-1, popped up. Nolan Gorman calling for it, has it, 2 away. And now a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
What's more convenient than over 100 helpful locations? How about one you can take with you? Wherever life's path leads you, we're just a tap away with Great Southern Mobile Banking.
Jim Edmonds, Dan McLaughlin with you here in the booth. And Jim A is with us as well. Waino has now won in his last 6 starts. Team is 4-2, but he's gone 0-2. Last time out was against Milwaukee, went 4 2/3. One of the rare times that he did not give the club 5 innings. It's happened a couple of times this year. Talked to him after that start, and he said, boy, Milwaukee just would not chase. Just would not chase. Too many of those 2-2 counts. Knocked down by Gorman. He hesitated with the shift, and sometimes you see that. Guys still trying to get used to it. Do I go after it? Is my shortstop there or not? And that'll be a base hit for Anderson. Let's see what teams have done against his fastball. So more success here in the month of June. Extends the inning to Brian De La Cruz. Lined out to left field.
I think for a guy like Waino too, from a hitting standpoint, a guy with a lot of pitches, you end up taking more pitches because you really are trying to kind of guess game plan. And I remember as a player, I would have pitchers ask me, are you guessing or are you just taking? And I'm like, not really either. I'm just like, don't really know what you're going to come with. And if you just miss, I just took a lucky take. And I think with Adam that happens. And I remember facing him. There's a couple of times where he threw some pretty good pitches. I was like, whoa, and then it's a ball and they're looking at you like, how did you take that? So, you know, with a guy like this, that happens a lot. The pitch count gets worked up. It's up to him to really throw the ball over the plate.
How much do you think guys guess? If you had to put a percentage on it?
I wouldn't say 50-50, but you know, you can see it. The only time you can see it is when you see guys take fastball middle or take a late swing on a fastball. You think he might not have been guessing, but he was thinking off speed or thinking slider. Goldie does it a lot, and I think he does it late in the counts, and he kind of looks for that best pitch, like that slider.
Check swing, and he did go. That's Laz Diaz ringing him up.
I think good hitters can do it. Bad hitters try to guess, and it doesn't work.
2 strikeouts in the inning. 6 tonight. Coming up, Paul Goldschmidt, and Goldie will lead it off, and he's already homered tonight. Into Big Mac land, and it's 1-0. Comic Superhero Night at Busch Stadium. It's a Wednesday, July 13th. Fans who purchase a special themed ticket receive an exclusive DC Comics Cardinals t-shirt and some of your favorite superheroes. Tickets at cardinals.com/theme. 1 home run shy of 300 is Paul Goldschmidt. And he taps that foul.
I'm ready for it.
Cardinals have 1 hit. It's the home run, and they lead it 1-0. They've been out hit 5-1 in the game. Big gap in left center. And the 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes.
He heard me talking, so he's dialed it up to 94 right there. You know they can hear us down there, so you got to be careful what you say. You don't offend anyone, but you got to lay it on the line too.
0-2 pitch. And Goldie a base hit on an 0-2. 2 for 2, and the only 2 hits tonight for St. Louis. Boy, it's tough to pitch him anywhere right now. He's hitting everything.
Yeah, it's you know, it's funny as you can throw him a couple of really good fastballs or cutters away, and you think, oh, he's just waving at those balls and whatever, and then you go and hang him. It's not even a hanging changeup. Look where this ball's at. This ball's down in his shins. And he just stays on it, and that's the thing. That's why he's late on the fastballs, because he's really not trying to jump on anything in particular. He's just trying to take a good solid swing.
Arenado 3 homers, 5 doubles in his last 10. Fly to left first time up. Shift on the left side. Off the plate, ball 1. Month of June, he's driven in 17. Remember, he was the player of the month in April. Drove in 17. And he popped 5 home runs in April, and he's got 5 in June.
You know,
4 for 10, by the way, against Lopez.
Say, if you weren't listening, you could have been talking about the guy at the plate or the guy at first.
Yep. And the off month of May, but then right back on track in June. And already Jim Hayes has got the wave going. Early start for Jim.
Did you see him down there? He was running. Have you seen those guys that run through the concourse?
Oh, yeah.
He was running with his hands up. I don't know how you see him. Spot him every time.
It's amazing. And the 1-1. Ooh, he was on it. Fouled back. 2 strikes on Nolan Arenado. Pitching matchups in the series. Dakota Hudson tomorrow. Braxton Garrett, a lefty. And then Wednesday, Palante and Alcantara with the lefty going for Miami. I would assume we'd see Albert Pujols in the lineup tomorrow. We'll see.
Hope so. It's been a while for me.
And the 1-2 pitch to Arenado. Backs up for a ball. Outfield straight away, deep for the Cardinal third baseman. The 2-2. A foul ball. The pitching of Miami will keep them in a lot of games, and they have played tight games and 1-run games this year. Most in the National League. They've had 28 1-run games. And Don Mattingly's club has lost 17 of those 28. The crowd making some noise here for Arenado. And the 2-2 pitch by Lopez. Tied him up, fouled back.
Imagine just getting, like you said, good pitching each and every night, and then not having, you know, enough at the end of the day or enough offense to win the game. It's got to be a tough one, because you can't really do much about it. You know, it's just teams will play 9 against you, and if your studs are going 7 and your bullpen isn't strong the whole year, you have trouble winning games.
They've had trouble scoring runs, and so it's the offense
both ways.
part of it.
But
yep.
I want to pick on one side or the other, but it's just tough on
2-2 foul.
Donnie Baseball would probably be pulling his hair out from time to time.
I would say too, Jimmy, is that you got young players. You know, not a ton of veterans with this club. Now you got Garcia, you got Rojas, Anderson now in his 3rd year, but Stallings is a guy that's helping you control your pitching staff. But it's where you look at the Cardinals, and they've had a ton of young players, but also it's Waino, it's Yachty, it's Albert, it's Arenado, it's Goldie, so it's the mix. And I think that helps too.
Well, you're right, Danny. You can't just keep shifting gears all the time and expect to win, regardless of how good your younger players are.
2-2, popped up, going out to make the catch, Cooper. And the first out here in the home half of the fourth.
You have to have core. You have to have the pass down the tradition guys, right? And there's obviously guys that you're going to have around for more than 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And when those guys are there and doing what they do on this team here with the Cardinals, you're going to get that. But when you run through guys every 4, 5, 6 years, you're not going to have that core to really have any kind of history.
And a shift on the right side. Nolan Gorman. Gorman, a base hit into right field. Goldie had to make sure that it got through. It did. Goldschmidt and the Cardinals have been so good going first to third. As a matter of fact, they are one of the best in all of baseball at base running this year, and certain metrics you can look at. Cardinals have gone first to third on 53 singles, tied for the second most in baseball. They have scored from second on a single 60 times. That's most in the game.
Yeah, that's a great piece of base running right there. There's 2 reasons. It is right barely over the second baseman's head, but it's also right at the right field. There's nowhere to go. If that ball's right or left to him and maybe in the gap, you take off. It's an easy read. And I still believe, you know, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago about base running, when the ball is behind you, for some reason it is so much harder to read than if the ball's in front of you, even if you're not running, you know, unless it's just a different angle. And does a nice job right there, just making sure that that ball doesn't get caught.
Snaps an 0 for 16 for Gorman, and the 1-0 pitch to Dylan Carlson off the plate. Lopez stingy in these spots. Runners in scoring position, and the opposition just 11 hits on the year and a 180 average against him. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Cardinals half of the 4th inning. Two and 1.
Danny, I want to give a shout out to the U.S. National Midwest team, 15 and under. They're down in Atlanta right now playing a tournament for a week, and they are watching us and they are listening to us. I don't know how yet, but hey guys, what's up? Keep working hard and we're pulling for you. Good luck.
2-1 pitch to Carlson. Carlson hammers it down the right field line. Yanked it foul. Home run distance, but foul.
Thanks.
And now a word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
Two and 2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3. The Chevy pitch tracks. So the strikeout of Dylan Carlson, ball tailing away, and now it's Juan Yepez with runners at first and second. 2 outs. Inning started with a base hit by Goldie on an 0-2 pitch to left. Arenado popped out. Gorman snapped an 0 for 16 with a base hit to right. Advancing Goldschmidt to second. Strikeout of Carlson, and now Juan Yepez struck out swinging back in the second inning. Inside, ball 1. So there you go. Maybe a pitch for effect. Back him off the plate. We've talked about how he pulls off, and now you set him up maybe with a pitch outside. He rolls over and you're out of the inning.
He's been doing a better job. I actually went back and looked at a lot of his footage from early on and then recently, and he's always pulled off just a little bit. But what I've noticed was the foot. His foot has been more open as of the last couple days until yesterday, when his landing foot in the front like a little bit more open right there, and the balance is a little bit off. And earlier in the year, he was landing with that foot closed, and what that does is even though he's opening up with the body, his hips are staying in there, and the bat stays in there a little bit longer. And he was driving that ball to right field. He hasn't, I don't think, driven a ball to right center field in a long time since I can remember. And the two-strike approach has changed a little bit too. And you know, that's part of the thing with La Russa. He used to say, you know, just because you hit a couple of home runs, it doesn't make you a home run hitter. Don't forget about all the other things you have to do to be successful.
A ball and a strike. 2 runners on. 2 outs. And the next to Juan Yepez.
Oof.
That's hit out of play.
You see the fallback right there. It is just changing the bat angle, and it ends up going straight up, and you get a foul ball. You stay over that ball right there, and you hit a line drive up the middle. Those are the things you just have trouble watching and figuring out in the heat of the moment. You can see basically Papa Bear right there keeping an eye on him. He's really studying him, looking. He's paying attention, and that's what it looks like when you're trying to help somebody.
And the 1-2 pitch to Yepez. Wow, just a bit low. 2-2.
Tell you what, a couple years ago when we had Ozuna, he was struggling in spring training, and I was talking to him, and he realized that I was paying attention, and so he kept asking me, just, you know, hey, what do you think during games, like when I'm sitting in the dugout. And I started videotaping him right from the dugout, and that's what I felt like. I was just staring at every little movement that he was making.
The 2-2 pitch to Yepez with 2 runners on. And one hits it a ton. Out to deep left. Another one off of Big Mac land. This one, a 3-run shot. His 8th home run of the year. The Cardinals have hit a pair of homers, and they lead it 4-0 here in Game 1.
Kind of like that. That is a changeup that doesn't get down, and it does not get in. And I think the last thing that you want to throw somebody who's opening up early is an off-speed pitch that stays up in the zone and stays in on the inner half. If this ball's away, he doesn't touch it. Look at this ball right there. I mean, that ball's crushed. He's got some serious power.
393 feet, the distance of the home run, and now it's Lars Nootbaar.
That's it. He knocked the French fry sign back on.
Off of Big Mac land, the second one that's hit off of Big Mac land tonight.
Those McDonald's people remember how expensive that sign was to fix after, what was it, DeYoung who broke it a few years ago when the ball stuck in there?
Albert did it initially. He knocked out the eye in Big Mac land way back when. First time that Yepez has homered in consecutive games. 4-0 Cardinals with a 3-run blast with 2 down here in the 4th. Nootbaar hits it up the middle, taken there by Rojas, and he is 0 for 2. Juan Yepez with home run number 8. He's driven in 22 on the year, and he knew it. Redbirds on top as we head to the 5th.
JC injury report already updated. Jack Flaherty. Harrison Bader went on the 10-day IL with plantar fasciitis. Bader told me he's been dealing with it all season, but the pain had begun to affect his play. Bader told me it's impacted everything I do from the first second of the season. Speed is a big part of my game, being explosive in all directions, but I was limited. There was a stretch where it was manageable, but the last couple of days with the sharp pain I was feeling, it wasn't me out there, Danny. Harrison is going to rest that right foot for a while.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. So Yepez, a 3-run homer, and a line shot just over Tommy Edman, and the base hit for Jacob Stallings. You think Albert at some point just says, all right, let's just give me a 24-hour break?
Yeah, that's when he asked to go out there on the field and play first base.
Probably
One
right.
of the two. Either put him out there or let me go out there.
That was only the third home run Lopez has allowed to a right-handed batter. So he's given up. He came in with having allowed just one. He's given up 2 to the righties tonight. Goldie and then Yepez. And Juan, a really good take in that at bat on that pitch that was just below the zone, and then hammers that off a Big Mac land.
Well, you think about the 2 pitches that he gave up homers, and they were kind of the wrong place at the wrong time to the hitters. They were basically the bad cutter up to a guy who's so hot it's incredible, and then he kind of just threw one in the wrong place to Yepez, who kind of just, and I'm not being mean about it, like he just ran into it, like you threw into his swing path, like, and that's where he kills balls. And it's almost like if you were to say, hey, don't throw a fastball down the middle to Big Mac, well, that's like don't throw anything soft and up to Yepez or he's going to kill it, and he just did.
2-1 the count on John Birdie. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Waino had not received more than 3 runs of support in any of his last 6 starts. Last time that he got 5 or more was his last win, which was back on May 20th. So it had been a while. And a double play ball. Tommy, Nolan, Goldie. 6-4-3, 75 double plays turned by the Cardinals.
How about that turn by the young second baseman right there? That was pretty impressive. I know Tommy set him up perfectly, but watch how smoothly and quickly. And I think this all started by Tommy with a good feed. But he just turns it and throws it.
He's got a third baseman's arm. So,
well, that's good, because then he doesn't have to really get his feet going.
Yep.
He just needs to turn and get pointed in the right direction. But it was a really nice feed by Tommy. It was right there at his hip where the glove is.
So the double play, and now 2 outs and nobody on. Garrett Cooper has singled to right and also walked. First pitch fouled back.
That's not an accident. You know, these guys are out there every day working on that play right there. Backhand, forehand right at you, and then switch sides. And so in order for these two to work well together, they've probably taken a few 100,000 ground balls in the last couple weeks or months to get used to it. It's nonstop out there before batting practice.
12th different season with 10 or more ground ball double plays induced by Adam Wainwright. Slow breaking ball, and it's hit out to deep left. And that'll be a ground rule double off the bat of Garrett Cooper, on base for the 3rd time.
A nice swing right there, and I think Adam just did him a favor, just barely too slow. Just timed it up so well. That's one of those things, as soon as he let it go, he thought it was a good idea, and then you could see Cooper just sat. That's how you stay back. What a great angle. Look at this camera angle right here. Goes to his front side and then just stays on that back leg. That's when you're going good.
That was Yepez's first home run, by the way, on an off-speed pitch. Been really getting to the fastball to hit for power. And speaking of power, here is Jorge Soler.
If you close your eyes, can you guess velocity on that curveball?
The one we just saw, the
double.
Ago.
The double. I'm watching you.
I'd say 68.
63.
63.
Even slower than I thought. It's almost like that double clutch softball swing right there.
Exactly. Since June 23rd, Marlins 3 for the last 24 with runners in scoring position. 0 for the last 7 and 0 for 3 tonight. Soler is struck out on a 2-2 fastball back in the 1st inning and grounded into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Runner at 2nd is Cooper, and the 1-1 pitch. 1-2. We see guys so many times. That pitch, not very hard in today's day and age of baseball, but the breaking ball keeps them honest, and they just let those go by. They're in between.
I love that pitch sequence right there too. It kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what is happening, and that
gets by Herrera to the backstop, so Cooper to 3rd.
You see that bounce right there? He went to block it, and it didn't kick like a breaking ball. It almost kicked straight, like just went straight over the top.
That's the spin, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the breaking ball does. He has a really true 12-6. Check this out. He thinks he covers it, but watch it just sneak by. See, he starts to get down, and it just kind of stays down. Usually that ball will kick up, at least catch elbow or shoulder, or like slid underneath him.
2-2. Spoiled by Soler. Pretty good pitch there by Waino.
That's when you know you have to kind of run something in. You don't want guys fouling curveballs off a foot off the plate and down.
Always felt and wanted to ask certain players, just what is it, you know, you're the Marlins, you're coming in, it's the later portion of June now, June 27th, and here you have a pretty good crowd for a Monday night.
There you go, right there.
Inside, and it's 2-2. The point is, Jimmy, I mean, they're not playing in front of a lot of fans, and you come here and again, this isn't packed, but it's a nice crowd.
Well, it's like when you play here every day. What do you do to top this? You get an all-star game or a playoff. You know, that's the only thing that's going to rival this. And these guys got to love being on the road.
Swing and a miss. Slow breaking ball. 75 miles per hour from Waino. Number 7 tonight.
Going from spring training to opening day, basically.
Marlins have left 6 on, and it's 4-0 midway through 5. MLB All-Star Ballot now open. Vote daily at MLB.com/vote to send your favorite Cardinals player to Los Angeles this summer.
There's a little guy.
The way the game was going yesterday, probably born in the first inning. Ivan Herrera. He walked back in the 3rd inning. Well, people forget it took a while for Yachty to get things going. First was called up in 04 as his glove and defense brought him to St. Louis, and a strikeout of Herrera. And maybe that'll be the case with Ivan Herrera. Time will tell. Strikeout number 4. Catches the bottom of the zone.
It looked like he was looking kind of up and away. Did you see his head kind of like leaned out over the plate a little bit as if he was going to get something away or soft, and it snuck underneath him.
There's Tommy Edman. Tommy in a little bit of a rut. 0 for 2 here tonight. Lined out, struck out, and takes a pitch down and in for ball 1. Shift on the right side of the infield. Get through. That's a base hit. And a 1-out hit for Tommy Edman into right field. I don't think, Jimmy, you can overlook the loss of Harrison Bader, what he means to this team. Last year, we would talk about it when Bader and O'Neill were in the lineup. This team won a lot of games. When Bader started last year, Cardinals were 21 games above the 500 mark. And when he didn't, they were 3 games below. I mean, that's defense, his energy. Offensively, he's turned into a nice player. It's a big loss for the next 10 days.
It definitely is a big loss, but it's one of those things that, as a player, I talked to him last couple days off and on, and he said he was in so much pain that he just couldn't get to the point where he can, you know, like Jimmy said, be himself. And you get a guy like that, but you get a guy that can't do what he wants to do. You have to, like, you know, it's almost like one of those things, you know, are you better with him broken or without him and somebody else healthy? And you do have a couple guys that can play out there, but the thing is, you got to be careful with him. Is like Albert, he had that foot issue for so long. If there's certain things you can play hurt or injured, and I think that foot with that fasciitis or wherever the issue is, when he says it feels like he's got a knife in his foot, I mean, I don't know if, you know, you can do anything about that. And that's the thing that, you know, like to what you said, That's the part that's bad. Is here you got a key part to your team, but if he can't go out there and play, you're just better off just kind of like, okay, I understand, but let's get somebody out there that's healthy, and let's hopefully you can get back as quick as possible, especially at this time of the season.
Edman running, swung on and missed, throw to second, and safe. Tommy Edman, stolen base number 18.
You clearly know what I'm talking about, and that's not to say anything bad or good about anyone. It's just the facts. And man, to me, it almost scares me that when you have the foot problem, especially with cleats being so specialized now, you know, everyone's wearing different pairs of cleats and different styles, and foot problems are no joke.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Brendan Donovan. Donovan hits it to the right side and again to Birdie. 3 times he has grounded out to the Marlins second baseman. And Tommy Edman advancing to third, and it brings in Goldie, who's 2 for 2. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. Take you back to the first inning. Home run number 299 in the career of Paul Goldschmidt off of Big Mac land.
I think it's funny. You don't see him hit a lot of balls up in his eyes like that. And if you do, it's that ball. It's that middle in, up, kind of middle speed, hanging slider. But to be honest with you, I don't know if I can remember him hitting anything that high in the strike zone for a home run. Usually takes it. 2 outs, runner at third.
Lopez has pretty good control, but with a guy like Goldie, you see it all the time where an opposing pitcher tries to do a little bit more than they want. They overcook it, and all of a sudden Tommy Edman with his speed scores the 5th run. Keep that in mind, especially with Brian Anderson, the third baseman, playing back, so Tommy Edman can get way down the line.
Sounds like your dinners when it's your turn to cook. Overcooked.
One way to look at it.
Mine too, I think.
Goldie came in against Lopez 0 for 6, but tonight 2 for 2. That home run and also a single to left on an 0-2 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big gap in left center field. Tommy Edman, the 1-out base hit, stolen base number 18, advanced on the ground out. As Goldie hits it out of play. Lefties, righties.
Doesn't matter.
Well, the lefties 451. And really, the thing is, Jimmy,
look at the Boston Red Sox.
Not that he's done that to that level in his career against lefties that high, but he is crushed in his career left-handed pitching.
451.
It's incredible. Off the plate, and it's 2-2.
Remember when I told you earlier this year we were talking about certain players, and we talk about a platoon player, and they don't hit the opposite-handed pitcher? You got to kind of take splits. Yeah, you got to have to take it. Well, you have to take a look, like a secondary look at, is this guy really that good? Because normally those are the guys that kill righty, lefty, lefty, righty. And so you think, okay, well, how's he doing it then? And even if he doesn't play against the same sided hand as he hits on, you're thinking, well, how's he still getting by?
The 2-2 out to deep right field. Garcia back, and it's off the wall. Goldie on his way to second, a triple away from the cycle that scores Tommy Edman. Paul Goldschmidt with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 393 the average, and on the rise.
I don't know if I pitched to him right there. No, I was thinking that the whole time. I think he got ball 1, and then he got strike 1, strike 2. But man, that is just, it's a good piece of hitting. That's almost knocked down the wall. Did you have a slight doubt that that ball might actually get up over the wall because you can't see the distance as well? I know, but I was like, this is going to sneak over the wall. I'm going to be shocked. But then it almost knocked the wall down.
kind of the similar trajectory of the home run of Matt Holliday's last home run as a Cardinal was kind of like that.
Didn't think it was going to get out, but just kept on going.
Yep.
I didn't think that ball was going to go that far. I knew it was going to get over his head, but wow, that ball was crushed.
First run scored by Tommy Edman in 5 games. That's his second longest streak of the season. That's how good he's been at scoring runs.
I know you don't want to make Arenado mad, but I really have a hard time believing you want to throw to Goldie right there.
Happy 30th birthday yet again to Anita Lee. Amazing how she keeps hitting 30. Anita Lee, happy birthday. And the 1-1 pitch to Arenado. Spins away from a ball inside.
That's the byproduct right there of that fastball that Goldie hit off the wall. He's thinking maybe I got to get the ball inside a little bit more often.
Pretty comfortable at bats, huh? By the
well,
Cardinals
I just
tonight.
think especially the way Goldie swung at that pitch. I mean, but that's just what, you know, you fall into patterns as a pitcher, and if you don't come in for a while, I mean, guys are still going to dive out over the plate. They know that's a pitch for a reason. But you know me and my theory, right? Don't wake up a guy who's kind of just hanging around. You don't want to throw at guys and you're going to wake them up and make them mad, especially these two. You can just see right there. I mean, have you ever seen anyone respond to adversity and being thrown at or just missing pitches like Arenado does? I mean, he can turn it up in an instant.
The 2-2 pitch to Nolan Arenado. The strikeout, 2 in the inning and 5 in the game, but a 2-out double by Goldschmidt off the wall in right. He's driven in 2 more. He's up to 64 this season. It's not even July. 5-0 St. Louis. What a great test for the young Andre Palante on Wednesday to be matched up with Sandy Alcantara. That'll be in game 3 of the series. Braxton Garrett and Dakota Hudson tomorrow. On the air both nights, 6 o'clock. Hope you join us. The Budweiser What's on Tap. Avisail Garcia. He is 1 for 2. Jesus Sanchez and Miguel Rojas. By the way, by no means am I saying that Avisail Garcia is Miguel Cabrera.
I was waiting for you to come up with this one.
But man, does he have the stance, the look, the way he wears the uniform. I mean, it looks like
same number.
Cabrera.
It does look just like him.
Even the stance is a little bit like him too. Waino had 22 pitches in the first inning. And it's gone down ever since. There's Nolan Gorman to his left. And it's been the reverse on the other side. Lopez 13 pitches first inning, but 25, then 18. And maybe catching up with him. We'll see. 5-0 our score as we play in the top of the 6th. I would say Miguel Cabrera, Albert, the 2 greatest right-handed hitters of their generation, and they'll go down as 2 of the best that ever played this game.
You said it. Think about what Miguel Cabrera did in Florida and Detroit. I mean, wow.
So 1 out and nobody on, and a strike to Jesus Sanchez. And the 0-1 taken a bit low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
See, that's like the pitch I was saying right there. You're thinking it. Wainwright's thinking, how does he take that? And you're just kind of like thinking, is he going to give me something up, give me something in, and then the ball comes out of the hand, and you're like, you don't pull the trigger, and the pitcher's like, why didn't he swing? The cat and mouse game.
1-2 the count. 85 pitches for Waino here tonight. Next to Sanchez inside.
It's a great pitch right there.
Remember, Sanchez caught looking back in the fourth and was kind of smiling, looking back at the home plate umpire. You got a veteran on the mound. Anything close, you better swing. He does swing there and missed it by a foot. And Ivan Herrera completes the out. Strikeout number 8. Sanchez hitless, 0 for 3, pair of strikeouts. Waino has struck out 8. And it brings in Miguel Rojas, who is 1 for 2 tonight. Well, the Cardinals yesterday had a 5-0 lead, could not hold it. 5-0 with 2 outs and nobody on. Rojas a base hit to center, popped out to second. Slow breaking ball in for a strike. Why would he stop in 2022? And I don't think he will. Talking about Adam Wainwright.
I was thinking the same thing the other day.
2 strikes.
I just don't think we realize the amount of time and effort and work that it takes to do what he's doing.
He's made all the money you could make in the world that you'd want to make, so that's not the issue. It's family and your desire to compete. Ground ball may have been off the bag, off balance throw, and he got him. What a play again. Nolan Arenado stayed with it. Who knows where that ball is going, but we know that's going to be an out. And a little smile from Waino. Defense of the infield of the Cardinals is just sensational. 10 pitches, 8 strikes in the inning, and a 5-0 St. Louis lead. Presented by Rawlings and Dick's Sporting Goods, official club for fans 13 and under. And 2022 membership includes a cap, drawstring bag, pop it, a voucher for 2 free tickets, and access to a members only event ball game. This is right up your alley. And it's all for just $33. It's the kids club. Yeah, you.
Right up their alley right there too.
I think you're going to get a special exemption. Just for you.
Thank you very much.
Richard Blyer is in, and that hits Gorman. I'm going to say he swung, I believe, and then it hits him, so that'll be a strike. Let's take a look at some point here as Chris Conroy is out to check on Nolan Gorman.
Oh, right in the wrist.
Blyer pitched a couple of days ago against the Mets. Got hit twice, I believe, there and there.
And you know what?
And he got a strike called on him.
That's not much of a swing to be automatic. That's the thing that I hated that when I was playing. Guy throws a ball up at your face and you're trying to start your swing, get out of the way, throw the bat in the air, and they say strike 1, and you're like, you kidding me right now? Almost got my teeth knocked out, and you're like, strike 1?
Lopez, the starter tonight, 5 innings, 5 runs on 6 hits, struck out 5, walked 1, gave up a pair of homers, and the 0-1 pitch by Blyer missed in.
Hit a homer right here. That's how you do it.
Marlins had a 3-2 walk-off win against the Mets yesterday. Nick Forte's game-winning solo home run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. So they're coming off the high of a walk-off win. Cardinals coming off a crushing defeat. And yet Waino doing what he does, being a stopper and one of the top pitchers still in the game. They needed a very good outing from Adam Wainwright. So far you're getting that. It was kind of a one-handed swing there by Gorman.
Oh, I can't imagine that it feels good. I mean, it doesn't matter if you swung or not. You still got hit in the hand. And that's what is aggravating more than anything. I used to think that sometimes for first base, third base umpire to watch that and call it a strike. You got no compassion in the game at all.
Well, rules are rules. Ball game rules are rules.
But that wasn't a clear-cut swing, by the way, either. It didn't have to be.
You didn't think he went?
I don't care if he went. I said it didn't have to be.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
There's Turner Ward there on the left.
It's just talking about exactly what I'm talking about. It's not fun.
There's Dylan Carlson, this side of the plate, hitting .317. And he's 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out to first and also called out on strikes back in the fourth. 0 for 2. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. Temperatures ideal. Heat wave was here for the last couple of weeks.
Coming back too.
Carlson hits it out to left, extra bases. On his way to second and in sliding with a 1-out double. So his last 11 hits, 8 have gone for extra bases.
That's what you like to see.
I love his swing from this side of the plate.
He doesn't. I like him and Tommy both when they throw a lefty. Like, get those guys on the other side. I think they both got great swings. You're not losing anything by both of these guys hitting right-handed at all. And if you didn't like last week's heat wave, just wait till the next one.
Is that right?
A couple of days, yeah. It's back up in the 95, 96.
We will be prepared and ready.
Whew. Then the one after that, and the one after that.
The fastball outside and low to Yepez. 3-run homer back in the fourth, and he's 1 for 2.
When I first got here in the old stadium, it would get so hot that we changed pitchers and the sun would be straight up, and I would stand out in the center field, and there's zero shade, but I would stand up against the wall as if the sun being straight up.
Yepez, another deep left. The man is red hot, and another long home run. Juan Yepez, 2 home runs, and he's driven in 5 tonight.
Yikes.
First home run against a lefty this year. We're talking about the reverse splits of guys. He's been very good against righties, but his first home run against a lefty this year.
I guess maybe he wasn't listening the first time.
And a strike on Lars Nootbaar. This is the kind of answer the Cardinals needed after yesterday. 7-0 our score as we play here in the home half of the 6th. One ball and 1 strike. Juan Yepez now with 9 home runs, and he's driven in 24 on the year. First multi-home run game of his young career. And that's lifted in the air to right field off the bat of Nootbaar, and the out. Caught by Avisel Garcia. Out number 2. And now a word from BOS.
You're moving up in the world. You deserve a bank that can keep up with your changing needs. It's time to make the bold move. BOS. Bank boldly.
Ivan Herrera has walked and also called out on strikes. 0 for 1. This might be the time, after maybe one more inning from Adam Wainwright, where you see a major league debut coming out of the bullpen. At the time right now, 7-run lead, but James Nail
Well, they like
something to think about.
Throw him right in the fire. First day, get it out of the way. Now he's never going to leave Albert alone.
And the 1-0 pitch, chopped to third. Brian Anderson. 2 home runs. Juan Yepez tonight. He's driven in 5. Back in the 4th, it was a 3-run shot, and then a no-doubter again. A 2-run homer, Juan Yepez. Bam! 7-0 St. Louis.
Nothing Cardinals on a gorgeous night in St. Louis. We've gotten to know a lot about Brendan Donovan, the baseball player. He had the top on base percentage in baseball at .426 going into tonight, and he can play anywhere in the field. What about Brendan away from the diamond? He told me, I hate to break it to you, but I'm a boring guy. I'm a homebody. I like to sleep, and I like to just hang out. Donovan said, during the winter, I travel a little, but during the season, I'm all baseball. I'm either at the ballpark or home with my fiance and my dog, Danny. Brendan's dog is named Dixie, a little mixed breed.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. 7-0, and the baseball rat that he is, Brendan Donovan. He's played 6 different positions for the Cardinals this season. Of course, Jim would mix in the report about a dog. I've learned a lot about his dog, Stella.
Just sneaking another way to
you got it.
Support the dogs.
34,701 tonight. 34701. It's the Goldie Show. Goldschmidt Yepez.
Oh, here we go. We're working on a little smoosh.
Ooh,
don't forget about the Wainwright guy.
I'll get to him in a bit.
I'll get to you.
Adam Goldez tonight. There you go. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, 3-man show. Don't worry about the other guys.
2-2. Swing and a miss. 9 strikeouts. Back in 2016, a memorable night against the Marlins, and I believe this was the night that you were celebrating the 06 championship club, the reunion of that team. 10 years later, and these two still going strong, talking about Yachty and Waino. Complete game. You guys were in a suite, and a nod to you guys.
Next to you, my friend.
That was awesome.
I was sitting right in this chair.
Jorge Soler. And Soler, a ground ball, backhanded. Edman, long throw, and got him.
What a play.
Flat-footed from the outfield grass, Tommy Edman.
I mean, this is just a great play. He stops his feet just in time, sets himself up to throw.
Arenado stopped. Not sure he could have gotten there.
Throw before he even got a chance to throw.
And it's 2 away after the double by Cooper in the 5th inning. It's 6 in a row set down by Adam Wainwright. He's allowed 7 hits. He's struck out 9. 2 outs and nobody on, and that pitch hit out of play. Yepez, the 8th rookie since 1920 with 2 home runs, 5 driven in a game. Pujols never did it. He had a pair of 2 home run games as a rookie, but not the runs batted in. Pretty impressive. And he, along with Goldie, have been the story tonight offensively. Goldie is 3 for 3, a home run, a double, a single. He's driven in 2. Juan Yepez, a 3-run homer, 2-run homer, and he's driven in 5. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Stallings. Put in play. Hit to short. Edman gets it on the short hop. Makes the play. Time to stretch. 1-2-3 go the Marlins. And we head to the home half of the 7th. 7-0 our score. On Valley Sports Midwest, brought to you by BMW. Experience the ultimate driving machine at a BMW center near you. By Jack in the Box, introducing the new $5.99 double bacon cheesy Jack combo at Jack in the Box. Order on the Jack app today. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Seeing that shot right there from the great Tom Mee, our director, tells you Wainwright is more than likely done. Smile talking to Miles Michaelis. 7 innings tonight from Waino. The flip side, Pablo Lopez, 5 earned tonight, second most he's allowed this year. Gave up 6 back on the 17th of June against the Mets. He allowed 3 home runs in that game, 2 tonight. Last time the Cardinals hit 3 or more home runs in a game against the Marlins was all the way back in 2016. Pham had a pair, Piscotty and Grichuk. Some names from the past.
I thought you were going to say the last time the Cardinals hit 3 homers in a game was yesterday.
A little over 24 hours ago. Did that in an inning.
This was quick. That was bang, bang, bang.
Eric Gonzalez is the new shortstop. Comes in for Rojas. And the top of the St. Louis lineup is Edman, Donovan, and Goldie. Shift on the right side. The 0-2 pitch to Tommy Edman. Breaking ball, a beauty. First out in the home half of the 7th. And for the Cardinals getting loose, it's James Nail.
Pretty good breaking ball right there. It's what you're going to see out of Nance. Fastball, curveball, slider. Hasn't pitched in about 6 days. It's a long time to sit out there in the bullpen.
There's Brendan Donovan, the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Donovan 3 times has grounded out to second. Hitless tonight. Paul Goldschmidt is a triple away from the cycle. He's on deck.
It's going to be a tough one for him, but there's a lot of room out there.
Funny hop, funny bounce.
A lot of room out there.
You never know. And the 1-1 pitch. Someone goes for a soft liner, dives for it, gets by. You never know.
You never know.
Benji Molina, our buddy at Fenway, had a cycle.
I can't even believe that. He might be slower than Yachty. Actually, I'm going to go with he is slower than Yachty.
3-1 the count.
It would be a runoff from Benji and Jose.
Out of play.
I have to ask him who would be faster, and you know he's going to say him, but I'm going to have to text all 3 of them.
Got the foul ball. You get a souvenir and some happy fans here at the ballpark and a hug. I love seeing that. 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Come to the ballpark. Popcorn, Cracker Jack, the hot dogs, Coca-Cola, and a souvenir. What a beautiful night. 3-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Donovan. Back-to-back Ks for Nance.
That was a dirty breaking ball.
2 away.
It's a big breaking ball straight down. Wow.
Big night for Goldie. Home run, single, double. Pair of runs batted in. 1 home run shy of 300. First pitch, a strike. Marlins will have the top of their lineup coming up. Got 22 career triples.
And Benji had one. The stand-up triple in Fenway.
It's one of those, I believe, it kind of rattled around the 420 mark. Right center, maybe?
Center field area, kind of, and bounce. Yeah, kick to the right into the corner. And the thing about that is the right fielder comes over to play it off the wall in case it bounces up and it's shot back over towards right center. End up putting yourself out of position, and there you go.
2 strikes on Goldie.
We'd love to see the stat cast on him running around the bases.
And the 1-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Off the plate, 2-2.
Oh, that's a big breaking ball, man. It's a good one.
Two outs, nobody on, and a 2-2 pitch to Goldie. 3-2.
That breaking ball is almost 3,000 revolutions. RPM.
The 2,800, it's 2,900. You're talking
2,900.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And a 3-2 pitch. Goldschmidt hits it up the middle, off the glove of Birdie, and it's a 4-hit night for Paul Goldschmidt.
Keep running. Was it Goldie that hit the ball the other day for the Little League homer?
Yes.
That was pretty impressive too. I think that Little League homer was as exciting as those homers in the Big Mac land.
Jim's referring to the ball that got away from 3 defenders of the Brewers that allowed Goldie to score.
3 defenders the second time.
Last 4-hit game for the Cardinals was Nolan Gorman at Milwaukee. Let's see if Arenado can't get in the act here. He's hitless tonight. Fly to left, popped out, and struck out. A 1. 0-2. Short lead at first by Goldschmidt. And a shift on the left side, and that's a ball in the dirt. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. James Nail, a Cardinal fan, grew up in the state of Missouri, set to come in. Arenado waves at it, strikes out. 3 strikeouts in the inning. We'll see a major league debut when we come back. Adam Wainwright tonight. 7 innings, 7 hits allowed with the 9 strikeouts, only 1 walk, no runs for Waino. He's trying to run his record to 8-2 all time against Miami in the BJC Healthcare difference maker. He's working with Ivan Herrera, becoming the 17th different player to catch Wainwright in his career, and now a major league debut with family and friends here.
Pretty awesome.
John Birdie, and a strike.
How great is that? These fans know what's going on.
They all may be from Charleston, which is where he grew up. Cardinal fan. And a ground ball hit to the right side. Nail to the bag, and he has his first out in the big leagues. He's in relief of Adam Wainwright. And growing up in his room as a young boy, posters of both Waino and Yachty. And now they are his teammates.
Just 29 years old.
Drafted in 2015 by Oakland. He was a 20th round selection out of Alabama Birmingham, and then signed with the Cardinals. It's a free agent in November. 7 seasons in the A's farm system, and now in the big leagues. First pitch to Garrett Cooper is hit out of play. It's his family and friends. I'm telling you folks, they're making a bunch of noise here at Busch Stadium. At 27 games with Memphis, made 3 starts, was 3-2 with a 3.28 ERA. And now gives up his first base hit.
Got to get it all in there the first night. So you don't have anything to worry about the next time you pitch.
1 out hit by Garrett Cooper, and it brings in Soler. The month of June, 8 games, 2 starts, had 15 strikeouts in 18 innings. Breaking ball and a strike. Coming in, pumping strikes. Oh, 1 pitch, nothing in 2.
Nasty sinker right there. But when you know, when you see a ball that moves like that, when the hitter goes up to hit it and it comes back down. Wow.
And the 0-2 pitch by Nail. Ground ball left side. Can they get 2? Out there. Welcome to the big leagues, James Nail. A scoreless inning in his debut. A Cardinal fan. And now the Birds on the bat. And a night he'll never forget. Awesome. Best coverage in the game. Check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. Off of Big Mac land. Those fans will get another jolt later in the game as Goldie has 4 hits tonight. 4 for 4. Juan Yepez hit one off the facing of Big Mac land as well. Nolan Gorman is 1 for 3. And there is strike 1. Jake Woodford picks up a baseball and starts to throw. Thought they might extend Nail for beyond that inning. He had only 7 pitches, but maybe just getting his feet wet and say, hey,
have to get his heart rate back.
That's right. Come on back down to earth. Gorman out to right.
And the lights.
Drops in as Garcia may have lost it in the lights, and that'll be a double for Nolan Gorman.
It's that ball I was telling you right there. It's kind of that medium fly ball line drive in the gap in the corner outfielders on both sides. He gets in there. Does not matter what you do. That's also too playing so far over there. See the center fielder is way on the other side. I don't know if I would agree with that, playing him the other way. Would you? Center field?
He's starting to hit the ball though more to left and up the middle. He's not pulling off as much, so maybe that's part of the equation.
I guess that's the old, if he hits it up in the air to right center, it's a homer, so don't bother playing over there.
By the way, on deck Yepez. No Cardinal rookie has ever had a 3 home run game, and he's got 2 tonight. Carlson, the base hit down into the right field corner. Gorman will score. Dillon on his way to second. He's thinking 3. Dylan Carlson standing up at third with an RBI triple, his second hit tonight. The Cardinals extend their big lead. It's now 8-0.
Tell you what, Dylan Carlson right here the whole time, I believe he's thinking triple, because he ran as hard as you can possibly run around the bases the whole way. He was flying.
Been 44 times in Cardinals history a multi-home run game for a rookie, which includes Juan Yepez here tonight. Shift on the left side. And Yepez taps one foul up the third base line.
Tell you what, the one thing that Dylan did do by hustling is allow him to hit a sac fly if he does miss it. And that's a big play right there for Carlson to hustle to third. Don't hang it.
The 0-1. 0-2. Budweiser plays of the game. Hit one in Big Mac Land yesterday. Off of the front of Big Mac Land tonight. 3-run homer in the fourth. 2-run homer in the sixth. He's driven in 5. And the 0-2 pitch. This swing and a miss. A little smile from Albert Pujols.
Oh, you know he's going to give it to him when he gets back.
Fourth strikeout in 2 innings by Nance.
He's got a big curveball, and that is just. It's like the right-handed Ichiro on a breaking ball.
Here's Lars Nootbaar, and a fastball and a strike. James Nail, 2011 grad of Charleston High School, Cardinal fan, makes his debut here at Busch Stadium tonight. And really not that far for family and friends to come to watch this game. He was the 2011 Standard Democrat Baseball Player of the Year. Pitched at Parkland Community College just outside Champaign, Illinois. Alabama Birmingham, many years in the minors, and a major league debut here in St. Louis. Awesome. The 1-1 and a foul ball. You got to make sure that that group there, those family and friends that have come, they got to get off their cell phones, because you never know. You got to be paying attention to the foul ball, but you know they're getting hundreds, if not thousands, of text messages right now.
And if you know them, text away. Let's see them get to work. That's awesome.
June 11th of 2015, he was interning. Good play at a metal sales company. And he and his co-workers had gathered around his cubicle to watch the draft ticker and saw that dream come true. He was selected by the A's. 81 innings in community college. He struck out 88. Finds himself at Alabama Birmingham. And the funny thing is, when he had signed with Parkland, he didn't know if he was good enough to even play at the JUCO level. Well, James, you made it to the big leagues. You're plenty good enough. 2-2.
2016, Danny, he played in A-ball, normal, upper A-ball, double A, and triple A all in the same season. That's incredible.
Can't imagine what's going through his mind right now. A 7-pitch inning in your debut. Arenado helps turn a double play. You're in relief of one of your heroes in Adam Wainwright. Goldie made a great pick on the double play too. 2-2 and a strikeout of Nootbaar. Hitless tonight, 0 for 4. And now a word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
You were talking about the excitement of the Little League home run or a home run in Big Mac land. I'll tell you what, give me the excitement and the story and the history of a player making his debut. There is nothing better.
No. It would be great to be able to hear what he has to say tonight. I hope they get some good footage of an interview, because I think that's as important as anything. I think it's awesome to maybe the cat down there waiting on him already.
And an 0-1 pitch to Herrera. Gets away, and a run will score easily. That's Dylan Carlson, and it's a 9-0 St. Louis lead. Matter of fact, Cat, if you are able to hear us, I know he was en route to going downstairs, but hopefully if you can get James Neal, that would be terrific. Now there's a lot of candidates. You got Yepes with a couple of home runs. You got Waino, but major league debut is so special, especially for somebody that grows up in this state and a Cardinal fan.
I just think it would be cool for, even if he doesn't get him early, that he gets him, and
he'll get
gets to hear what he has to say tonight on the news, because you know how many people are watching.
Tapped foul. And we may see another debut. Connor Capel is moved to the on-deck circle.
I think his heart rate's at right now.
James Neal pulled him aside and said, look,
it's not that hard.
Not that hard, man.
It's not that bad. It doesn't matter, man. I'll tell you what. You think you're nice and calm in the on-deck circle. As soon as you step foot out there, oof.
It starts to race. Everything's fast. Capel was part of the Mercado deal a few years ago. Mercado just brought back to the majors by the Phillies. The 2-2. I say it all the time, but John Hewlett deserves a lot of kudos as well. The longtime PA announcer here at Busch Stadium. Whether you're a visiting player, home player, he says, ladies and gentlemen, making his major league debut, player X, and I love that.
You don't hear that, and you're starting to hear it more, because we heard it somewhere recently, but you don't hear that much, and you never heard it back in the day.
Certainly you wouldn't hear it.
Especially
on a visiting player.
Yeah, I would care less.
Well, if he gets on, we'll see another major league debut.
Just, it's one of the things you pull for now in a 9-0 game. You want to see some more excitement.
And the 3-2 pitch, got him. Strikes out 6 in 2 innings. Nance. It's 9-0 St. Louis, and we head to the 9th. Your seats all the way up until the first pitch. They have a seller toolkit. Helps you buy and sell your tickets. No stress. Download the StubHub app today. Jake Woodford into the ball game. A lot of changes here for the Cardinals. As Connor Capel, just announced by John Hewlett, making his major league debut. He is in left for Donovan. Donovan going to third. Chevy called to the pen. Takes us to Jake Woodford. Edmundo Sosa is at shortstop. And Andrew Kisner is at first base. So those are the changes for St. Louis.
There's a gang of changes right there. That's how you do it.
And the first pitch is swung on and fouled away. So as we mentioned, Donovan going to third base. So all kinds of changes here for the Cardinals. They've unloaded the bench with the exception of Albert Pujols, just in case they need an arm. Outfield pretty much straight away. Garcia is 1 for 3 tonight. Adam Wainwright 7 innings, 9 strikeouts. That's off the plate, and it's 1-2. Marlins have left 6 on tonight. The Cardinals 3. Cardinals at one point being out hit 5-1 in the game. Now have out hit the Marlins 11-8 and lead it 9-0. The 1-2 grounder foul.
I was just looking through the stats, and you know, the game was kind of in control by Adam, and the two things that stuck out really quick were I didn't realize he gave up 7 hits and then 101 pitches. Just seemed like he was cruising along the whole time. And you know, it's really funny. I remember kind of growing up listening to Vin Scully, and he would say he scattered 7 hits.
Chopper, Donovan. First out. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jesus Sanchez 0 for 3 tonight, pair of strikeouts. Connor Capel, his father was a big leaguer. He was a right-handed pitcher. Pitched in 49 games, late 80s, early 90s. He was with the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Houston Astros. Also his dad, a teammate of Roger Clemens at the University of Texas.
That's pretty cool.
Capel played high school baseball at Seven Lakes High School in Katy, Texas. Then came to the Cardinals from Cleveland. And the 1-0 pitch. Out of play. So Nail, his debut, comes in relief of Bueno, and that's hit to third. Off balance throw. Donovan. Why not?
You're kidding. I was wondering how he was going to throw it, and was thinking, is he going to stop? Is he going to jump? And he just throws a bullet on the run.
Said that he follows Arenado and Goldie around all the time, right before games, defensively, to watch how they take ground balls before the first pitch, and that's a little bit of Arenado-esque in how he throws off balance too. So 2 outs, and Gonzalez, Eric Gonzalez, his first plate appearance, came in 2 innings ago for Rojas. Cardinals lead it 9-0.
I like the guy behind the plate there. He's the first one to stand up.
Ground ball to short. Sosa is there. The Cardinals take game 1 by the final of 9-0.
A pretty good job, like you said. Where did we start? Adam Wainwright, 7 innings, 7 hits, no runs. I like the 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk. What do you got? Goldschmidt or Yepes, or both,
or Nail, or Capel?
Just
a good night at the ballpark.
It'd be a good night to break this one down.
That's coming up next on the post-game show. The Cardinals win it, and St. Louis is now 42-34 on the year. Paul Goldschmidt set the tone early on with a home run, number 299 of his career. Juan Yepes, his Goldie had 4 hits. Juan drives in 5. And Goldie doing what Goldie does. What a night for him. What a night for the Cardinals. Back on the winning track, and they win it 9-0. Post game next.